probably not lonely. You're just afraid of being alone. It's no secret that there's a loneliness epidemic happening within our generation. Like never before, we've been able to connect with so many people across the planet, across the world. In an instant, you can send a message to someone continents away. We've never been more connected through social media and all these tools, but yet people are complaining, feeling like they've never been so isolated in their lives. And it's not even just Gen Z. Millennials are having the same problem. Older generations even are having the same problem. They're feeling so isolated. But that doesn't make any sense. How do we feel so isolated in a world where we can connect with any single person we'd like to? Well, in this video, I'm gonna break it down exactly why you're not really lonely, how to actually accept that you're probably just in a season of being alone, the benefits of that, and how to actually get out of that season. Because it's just a season, it's not meant to be forever. The first thing is acceptance. You have to accept the fact that you're more than likely not lonely. If you're watching this video, you have some sort of connection. You have some sort of internet connection. You can probably go on Instagram or some sort of social media to where you can reach out to other people. If you're watching this video, if you have the technology to watch this, more than likely you're in school. You're able to connect with other people, or you have a job where you can connect with people. You have the ability to leave your house and speak and talk with other people and connect with them and build relationships with them. More than likely, you've had childhood friends. You've had people that you connected with in school when you're younger, and then now as you're an adult, they might be a contact in your phone that you haven't talked to in a long time, but they're still able to be reached out to. You're not really lonely, you're just alone. You feel like you have all these friends, all these people you can probably talk to, but yet there is no connection. You might even have a friend group. You might have a group chat that communicates often, yet you still feel alone within it. You feel isolated. You feel like you're the only person that has these sort of interests. You're the only person with your specific problems. You're the only person with your dreams, with your goals, your ambitions, all these things that make you, you. You're the only person that has it. And of course, we're all unique. God made us all unique and different and special. But when you're within a group and you can't relate to anyone on any sort of level, that creates a feeling of isolation. And more than likely, that's what you're feeling. And you have to accept that. You have to first learn to accept that not every single person is going to be in your life forever. You have to reframe your mind on how you think about your relation to people. Often we love to think that once we meet someone, they're going to be in our lives forever. To the very end, we're like, yeah, every single person I meet, I want this person to be a ride or die. Every single person that I have a connection to has to be a ride or die, or else I don't want them. And we often see this on social media, but that's completely wrong. That's not true. I can guarantee you, I've went to 8 different schools from elementary and middle and high school. I went to 3 different high schools alone. And I can tell you that there are people that you're going to be really close with for a season, but they're only meant for that season, for that specific amount of time. Maybe it's just a few years, maybe it's a few months. There's some people that I connected with on like a business trip or something like that, and it was only for a few days that I got to connect with them, and we didn't really talk as much after, and that's perfectly okay. But you have to realize that not every single person needs to be a ride or die, a person that sticks with you for your entire life, and we love that. You should strive to have that within your relationships, but you also have to realize that people, sometimes their paths only cross for a period. You can think that you're going in a specific path and you're going this way, and then someone else, they're going this way as well, and you connect, and it's on that line of time, and it may seem like, oh, this is for like 5 years that we really connected, but then you're called to different careers. You go across the country. Maybe one of you goes to California, the other goes to New York. Maybe one of you is in London, the other is supposed to live in Manchester. One of you is supposed to be in this specific field. You might live in the same city even, but you're called to completely different companies, and your time, you don't have any time to really interact as much anymore. And then that period of time where you're thinking, oh, this is a ride or die, it's 5 years. But on this line of life that's so long, that short period of time was really just a short connection. And that's what you needed them for. That's what they needed you for. It was just meant for a season. And it doesn't mean that there's any bad will or any hatred or animosity to the other person. But you realize that it was just for a period of time. They weren't meant to be in your life forever. People change. People grow. And also people have the choice to. Some people, it seems like they're supposed to be in your life, and maybe they were, but at the end of the day, we all have free will. And they might decide to live a life completely different from yours, and they might not be the right friendship to have within your life. They might not be the right person to be around you. And that's just what it is. But you have to accept that not every single person is someone you need to hold on completely tight to. And I wish someone told me this when I was younger, because sometimes it was hard. I was like, when I moved schools, or when I moved like to a different city, when I moved from originally when I moved from New York to Texas, and I was like, man, I wish I had these friendships and relationships, and I wish I could take them with me, but I wouldn't have been able to grow into the man that I am today. I wouldn't have been able to grow and get the interests that I have. Even some of the friends that I have now, I wouldn't have been able to have them if I didn't leave what was in the past. You have to realize that the harder you try and grasp every single thing in life as tightly as possible, the less chances you're going to be able to accept what God has given you. Can you imagine if I have my phone and I'm just holding as hard as I want to, I'm holding as hard as possible, and God is like, here, I'm trying to give you this. I'm trying to give you this thing. I'm trying to give you this blessing. I want you to have a better phone. Let's say it's an iPhone 17 and this is an iPhone 14 that I have. And he's like, I just want you to have this. I want you to have this, but you have to let go. But I'm like, no, I really want this. I want this person. I need this relationship. But God is like, no, I have this person that's supposed to help you. I have this person that's maybe supposed to be your best friend. Maybe I have this person that's supposed to take you to the next level. And you're trying to hold on so incredibly tight that you can't receive it because you don't have any open hands. Can you imagine? And you're like, oh, wait, God, I want this blessing. I want this. But it's like, oh, I'm still holding on tight to this. But it's when you decide to finally let go and you open your hands and he's like, oh, here, I can give you this better phone. Let's imagine it's a better phone. I can give you this better phone. I can give you this better gift. I can give you this sort of relationship, this job, because you realize that you have to release certain things. I'm not saying this is for everyone, but you have to accept it. That's the very first step. Accept that not everyone's meant to be in your life forever. Of course, you can stay friends, you can keep in contact and do your best, but it doesn't mean you're going to have the same deep friendship that you once had. Sometimes it was only meant for a season. And next are the benefits. Yes, there are actually benefits of being alone. And I know I just told you that, you're gonna have to accept that some of your friends are not gonna be as close anymore. And that sucks. That feeling sucks. Don't let anyone tell you that, oh, it's just gonna be easy to release every single person. Every single person is gonna be amazing and all friendships are just gonna drift apart nicely and you're not gonna cry, you're not gonna feel sad. No, I would be lying to you. I've outgrown certain friendships, and it doesn't mean that there was any animosity or any fighting or even a direct conversation about it. But sometimes I thought, like, man, this is a bit sad. I kind of miss this person. I wish this person and I were still as close as we were. I wish we were still on that same kind of path in life, but we just aren't. And yes, there are those downsides, but you also have to realize there are tremendous benefits. There are amazing things that can happen in this period of isolation, of being alone, that you should not be afraid of. Like, one key thing is you get to have a clearer image of who you are. After high school, I had this whole year where I kind of just planned to be a bit more isolated. A lot of friends and stuff, I was kind of tired. Even though I'm an extrovert, I felt like my social battery was just completely drained. I felt like I didn't know as much of who I was because I had so many different opinions, so many people saying all these different things that I felt like, who am I? Do I even know who I am? I've grown a lot. I mean, high school is 4 years, and during my freshman year of college, I was like, who exactly am I? So I took that year of being a bit more to myself. It's not that I cut off everyone and all this, but I did have a period of isolation specific in mind where I was just like, let me focus on who exactly I am. And because I was taking college online, I realized a lot of new things about myself, things I never knew. I got to grow in my relationship so much more with God. I realized a lot of things I don't like, a lot of things I do like, the types of friendships that I do like, different types of friendships that I'm not really the biggest fan of. But I never would have had the chance to, I never would have had the time to if I hadn't got a period of isolation, if I wasn't alone for a period. And remember, this is for a period of time. And you have to remember that it's just for a period of time. And it gives you so much clarity. And so many of us are afraid of being alone with our own thoughts. You always have to have the TV on. If no one is home, you have to have the TV on. You have to have a video on your laptop. You have to have music playing. But have you ever just thought of, let me just sit here for 10 minutes and really just think. And really just think, like, whatever comes first to your mind. Do you ever spend like 20 minutes of just writing of what is something I noticed for today? What is something I'm grateful for today? What's something that I'm grateful for? What are character traits that I love about myself? Have you ever thought about journaling that? Have you ever thought about spending, 10 minutes that, hey, I love that I have curly hair. I love that I have curly hair. I love that I'm creative, or whatever it may be for you. You love that you're athletic. You love that you have such a strong empathy for others. You love all these other things. There's so many different exercises and things you can journal and think about. And of course, if you would like that, just below the like button, you can comment like what are some of these exercises that you'd want to have, and I can definitely make a video or give like a free planner or guide if you'd like. And once you get a better understanding of who you are, you also get a clearer image of what exactly you want to focus on in life. In different seasons, you get to have a higher amount of focus. In my freshman year of college back then, if I was in a relationship, I wouldn't have been able to focus so much on bettering my craft at filmmaking, at making this YouTube channel. I literally made it because I was trying to get better at speaking on camera, because I can record videos, I know how to be cinematic and all these other things, but I didn't know how to speak to a camera, and I can speak well in person, but that was something I wanted to focus on. I made so many videos. I would make a video each and every single day on the same exact iPhone in the same exact corner, and I got better at it. I got to focus on that aspect. I got to focus on my fitness. I really got to spend so much time working on my nutrition, bettering my fitness, and getting the gains that I had. I mean, I'm about 5'9.5", and at the end of my senior year, I was about 153 pounds. Right now, I'm at 170 at the very lightest, and that's a very light day for me. That's usually if I'm like fasted, I haven't ate anything, used the bathroom, all that. That's such a big difference. I have almost a 20-pound difference in what I weigh, and that's all lean muscle that I was able to get. And I was able to do a bulk last year and all these other things, but I had the time to focus on that because I wasn't focusing on all these other things. It was for a period of time that I was isolated, that I was alone, but it allowed me to focus on these things I really wanted to focus on. And now I get the time to be able to connect with others. And it was only because of that specific period of isolation and being alone that I got to focus so deeply on my fitness and my business and being creative and all these other things that I really wanted to get a head start on. It's such a crucial time. And along with these benefits, as I've mentioned throughout this video, remember it is only for a season of your life. It's only for a specific season, and it shouldn't be dragging on for like a decade. You shouldn't be a decade alone. If you're doing that, there's something wrong. It's not good for man to be alone. It's stated within the Bible. I mean, from the moment that Adam was created, very shortly, God was like, you need a helper. And he created women from Adam's rib. And it shows that humans, we need connection. We need people. Jesus, he had his disciples. He had his 12 disciples, and he even had 3 a part of an inner circle. And an even greater example of this is when Jesus went for 40 days in fast in the wilderness. It was only for 40 days that he was alone. It was a period of isolation. It shows us that it's just for a season. Being isolated is not something that you need to live your whole entire life on. I hate how all these self-improvement people and all these people are like, oh, you just need to live a life completely alone, cut off from everyone. I see so many Christians that make videos, their whole entire point is, they get land and they live out in the middle of nowhere by themselves, and it's just them. And you have the right to desire whatever life you want to live. And of course, I want to get land. I want to have property. I want to have a family, and all these other things, and be able to have a space where it's safe for my family with lots of acres. Of course, I want to have that, but I also recognize that that's just part of it. Like, I don't want to live a life where I'm completely in isolation. If you're in a life completely of isolation, how are you going to be a light to others within other people's lives? How are you going to be able to connect to others? It's not good, because why did one of the disciples, John, who was one of the closest disciples to Jesus, his punishment was to be exiled. He was exiled to Patmos, and he was sent to that island, and he had to live alone. Why would that be a punishment? Why is exile a punishment throughout history? It shows that we as humans are not meant to be alone. Being alone is not a healthy thing to have for a long period of time. It is only meant for a season. So have it for a season of focus. Have it for a specific season. Know that, okay, from this month to this day, this is when I'm going to be doing it. For this many months, for this many weeks, maybe it's just this week. I just need some time to reconvene. I need some time to really focus back on my relationship with God. I need to ask myself some questions. I need to reevaluate some things. But remember, it's just for a season. It is not forever. Do not be one of those people that think, oh, I just need to cut off every single person. I don't need to talk to anyone. I need to be all by myself. That is not a healthy life to live. That is unbiblical. You should not be doing that. And it's not good for man to be alone. So get that out of your head. Even if you're an introvert and you're like, I like my quiet time, you can enjoy that, but you still need to interact with other people. You still need to have relationships. That is important. And then you might be asking, okay, I got this far in the video. I know that I'm supposed to. How do I do that? How do I actually make friends? How do I actually get connections? How do I go from being alone to actually having a community, having people that I can relate to, that I love, that are gonna build me up? And your answer is one word: create. You need to create. Creating is the one thing that'll make you be able to stand out and truly draw the people in that you want to be around. And I know everyone loves to say like creating on social media. Often it is, but it can be so many other things. You need to go and create. And the reason for this is creation creates partition. And partition is to separate. It means that you're separated from something. Something is lifted up above others. You might be finding the problem that you can make friends, but none of them have the same interests. None of them want to actually better themselves. They're all just trying to drag themselves down. They might be completely consumed in activities that are not for the betterment of your own life. And you're like, I don't want to be around people like that. I don't want to be dragged down. I want to be lifted up. I want to lift up others as well. I want people that are going to drive me forward. And you need to do that by creating. Creating is the only thing that's going to create that partition. It's the only thing that's going to be able to separate you from the rest. And it doesn't mean you need to post on social media. Maybe it's writing. Maybe you need to go and create an opportunity to meet other people. Maybe join a run club. Maybe create an opportunity to code with other people. Maybe create an opportunity to get with other filmmakers. But whatever it needs to be, you need to create those opportunities. You need to spend time creating. Create a business. Create something on social media, video, art, something. Creation is the one thing that can make us look different. And if you're just living a life completely consuming other people's work, you're just gonna blend in with everyone else. You're not gonna stand out. They're not gonna be like, oh wait, let me connect with that person. That person is cool. And I've had the privilege of creating on here, and even though it's small for right now, it's still continuing to grow. I've been able to make connections with other people, and that's been completely amazing. On Instagram, that's one of the best tools I've had, where I've been able to talk in DMs with other people. I've been able to connect with other people, and that's been amazing. But I wouldn't have had those opportunities if I stayed to myself, where I was like, oh man, I'm just so alone. There's no one I can relate to. There's no one I can talk to. There's no one that is doing the same things that I want to. No, you can get that. You can have those relationships. You can build those, but you have to create those opportunities for yourself. You have to go out and create. True separation will never occur without creation. You need to create. You cannot just be a consumer and complain that you're alone. You need to go and create something. So even if maybe you need to start that social media, even if it's uncomfortable, maybe it's kind of weird, maybe it's cringe. Like I had to get over that. I had to make like 50 something videos talking to my little iPhone just so I could get over the fact that it is weird talking to a camera. Maybe you need to go and create it. And it's gonna be awkward, and it might be cringe, and it might be cringe creating that club or that business or whatever it may be, but the results are gonna be amazing. Not only do you get to have something that benefits you, but you get to have an opportunity to create community as well. Creation is so completely necessary. In a world where everyone overconsumes, you need to be a creator. You need to create something. And to show that this is biblical, that this is shown within the Bible, let me take you to Matthew 15, 16 through 20. And he said, this is Jesus talking, "Are you also still without understanding? Do you not see that whatever goes into the mouth passes into the stomach and is expelled? But what comes out of the mouth proceeds from the heart, and this defiles a man. For out of the heart comes evil thoughts, murder, adultery, sexual immorality, theft, false witness, slander. These are what defile a person, but to eat with unwashed hands does not defile anyone." And to give very crucial context here, Jesus is responding to the Pharisees and Sadducees that are saying that, oh, these other people they're eating with, are uncleanly. They don't wash their hands and all this other stuff. But Jesus is saying that it's not what goes into a man, but it's what comes out of a man that defiles him. And we can take that and know that if what comes out of a man defiles him, it's also what can lift him up. It's also what can lift up others. Because the same thing, if with our same tongue, with our same mouth, that we can do evil thoughts, murder, adultery, sexual immorality, theft, false witness, and slander, with the same mouth, we can have hope, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness. These are the fruits of the Spirit, the fruits that we are supposed to be producing. These same things can come from our tongues, come from our mouths, and go and flow onto other people, to outpour upon others, to outpour onto our own lives. That's what comes from creation. And then how I know the inverse is also true is because in Proverbs 18:21, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruits. So if we know death and life are in the power of our tongues, how important is creating things? We can say things, and how much more is it important to actually do these things? How powerful is that to actually go and create something? And you won't realize until you actually start. You need to create. It's the reason why you're feeling so lonely, why you feel like you have no community, why you can't relate to anyone, you haven't met the people yet that you know you're meant to meet within your life, is because you haven't began creating it. Now, if you would like to join this community, you can subscribe and like this video, and you can watch this amazing video right here where I talk about how to actually have desire, because desire is an incredible and important step in actually creating things, and you probably will struggle with creating if you don't have desire. So watch this video right here. Love each and every single one of you. Remember, purpose over pleasure.